Checking on someone that needs assistance like the elderly is just as easy as checking your phone nowadays. We take a look at the home8 elder care system. Welcome everybody, a Spike Studio product review. This time we're looking at a kit for taking care of the elderly or someone that just needs assistance. It doesn't have to be the elderly, of course. This is the Elder Care Ultra Secure Starter Kit from home8. What we're going to do is we'll take a look inside the box at all the components that come with it. We'll take a look up close at a few of them. We need to talk about the application a lot because the application drives a lot of what you do besides putting the units in the house. And then an overall opinion at the end. So we're going to keep all these pieces brief because there's a lot of things to cover. This is the instruction book that comes with the Elder Care Ultra Secure. This is the quick start guide. It's very short. It shows you all the components that are in there. And then on the inside, it's basically a quick 2 pages on how to assemble the hardware, which means plug everything in, download the app on your smartphone, and then mount the devices. They make it really, really quick and simple in the book, which is great. We'll talk about some things that we had concerns with as we get in later on in the review itself. So let's take a look at the devices, then we'll take a look at the app. So here we have the quick alert button. This comes with a lanyard. There's a little hook there at the top that you can use. The lanyard lets you hang it on a door, hang it on someone's neck, or anything else you need to do. The one button press will kick off an alarm and alert. It will also, of course, trigger notifications you have set up inside the app. Once again, we'll get to the application because that's going to be a key point of all of this. Keep in mind, if you do set off the Siren, it's pretty loud at 80 decibels, but I put it next to the phone so you can see the size of what this is. It's very lightweight. It is plastic. It is not waterproof. So keep that in mind. This is not wearable inside the shower itself. We review devices that are, waterproof or water resistant, but it's just a little simple plastic device. So let's look at the actual trackers. So here's one of the tracker devices, holding it in my hand so you can see the size. Once again, it is very lightweight. It is plastic. It is not waterproof. It has no alert mechanism button on it. This is strictly for tracking the movement of something. We're going to go ahead and flip it over and show you what's on the back. So as you can see on the back, there's 2 little 3M sticky pads. There's also a QR code for information and adding stuff. Now, one thing we didn't like is there's nowhere on here that you could mount a lanyard, or it doesn't come with a clip or something else. If you don't use these stickies that are here on the back under my thumb, there's 2 of them, one on each side, and put it on something, then you're really kind of stuck with what it does in terms of mounting ability. I didn't like that fact. I wish they gave you some other way to hook this onto other things. Maybe I want to know when something else opens. So let's take a look at the camera. So this is the camera. We're going to look at it in a couple different angles to give you an idea. As you can see on the top, there's the speaker that's there and available, microphone area as well. This has a couple abilities to it. For the tilt, I'm actually holding the base and I can tilt it. Now the pan is motorized. The left-right action is actually controlled. The app can actually move it. But for you to get it to where you want it for the tilt, you have to do that yourself. So you want to set that up properly when you first get into it. As you can see on the very back, it's a standard micro USB for power. Currently we're powered up, so we'll actually flip it so you can see the front of the camera. So there's the front of the camera. You can actually see it has a really good wide angle lens. It's 100 degrees. It'll rotate left and right pan 300 degrees of the 360, which is really awesome. It also does night vision mode as well and has some really good capabilities with that. So we'll take a look at the application. We'll take a look at the controls, how everything fits together, and finally the hub itself. So we have a lot to cover. We'll try to just summarize as quick as we can. This is the home8 app interface. One of the things I noticed right away is I only have the elder care system, and this pretty much has all their components on it. So I really wish there was just an elder care UI or maybe a toggle I could turn on and off if that makes any sense at all. I have the ability to view the video. The Videogram is captures of videos that have done from alerts and triggers. There's automation of things that can go on. Temperature, well, you need a temperature device. The elder care doesn't have that. There's activity reports, some medication tracking. So there's a lot of other pieces. And at the top, a little hard to see here in some of the recording stuff, and we can get some screenshots for you, but one is for an emergency, so I can actually press the button here to trigger the system to go into emergency mode, and the other one is for armed and disarmed because they actually have a huge security suite that's there. So I have this set for home. We have a few things that are on there. We're going to look live at the video. Right now we're going to look at it humorously. We're going to start with night vision first. Because I was recording the screen, we're going to do night vision first, but later on we'll go to, color. But with this, I can actually take it and tap, and as you can see, I can move the camera. So what I talked about just a few moments ago is I can, pan. So there you go. I'm just panning around the studio in the dark, which is really cool. So it's over there just moving along at its own little speed and doing what it needs to do. It's a great flexibility. Just remember you have to get the tilt right before you do that. Also built in the bottom, as you can see, there's one for listening in on audio. There's, of course, one for talking. If we turn on the audio piece at the bottom, after the camera's done moving its final times, now the audio's on. And you can hear the echo in the background. That's because I have the camera across the studio. I didn't want it too loud to feedback through. The opposite is true, is I can actually hit the microphone button, and now I can talk, and it'll come out the other side. So it's a really good two-way communication device that you have on there. Then you have, of course, the settings for the camera, as many things as you want to do in terms of what's saved. You want to flip the view. You can turn on motion detection and sound detection, which is really cool, and set some resolution stuff for bandwidth or other needs that you have. So I really like that capability that's in there. You can also, at the very top right up there, trigger the alarm. If I do that, you're going to hear an 80 decibel siren. So we're going to skip that for now and go back. Also on here, Videogram. Videogram is a capture of triggers and alerts and alarms that have gone off, and you can actually, and if you have multiple cameras in your house, it will actually show you different views for all the stuff that are going on because it triggers them all. So what's cool about this is it shows you the timestamps at the bottom that they took place. You can also store locally. So one of the things I want to show you is there's a huge menu under this menu option. Everything from configure the devices individually to adding new devices. You can add authorized users, which means other family members can be authorized by registering with the system, and you can give them that capability to watch this as well. Emergency contacts, local people to be notified, the notification log that went off, and then from there it's just the profile and notification settings. You even have integration now with Amazon Echo. I can say the device update I didn't have to do manually. Pretty much every time I came in, they had an update that was available. It told me, and it said, hey, you're going to be offline for a moment as it updated the hub or as it updated the camera or whatever else it needed to do. There was never an update for the trigger device or for the actual tracker device that I showed you a moment ago, but just for the camera as well as for the software. And of course, the app always gets updated with features and functions as well. So back to the home screen we go really quick. What I liked about the activity is it's by area. So if you have multiple of these systems or multiple setups, you have them all labeled. The last thing I wanted to show you was device management. As you can see in here, I have the activity sensors. It came with 2, as well as the actual panic button. Came with the cameras. You can label themselves, but inside of each one of these, I can select what I want to do with them. Once you get inside the camera, you can change the name. You can turn on motion detection, sound detection, everything I could do from the UI a minute ago, but you do it in here as well. You can set the different Wi-Fi configurations. It's really cool what you can do with it now. Local storage versus cloud storage versus SD card storage. So last piece of the puzzle, this is the actual router component, or the security shuttle is what they call it. We'll look at the height comparison in a second, but you can see I have a phone down here. This is the top. It does have this antenna that sticks up. It is all plastic. It is very lightweight. There's really nothing to it except it has to connect to the internet and then, of course, be available via the antenna to the components that are in there. So we take a look at the front. As you can see, there's a bunch of indicator lights from power to Wi-Fi connectivity to signal strength indicators. All of these light up in a blue-green pattern to let you know status. Red is bad. One thing I noticed, if I unplug the Ethernet from the port in the back, this thing does beep pretty continually. It's just built into it by default. I didn't see a way to turn it off. It didn't look that hard. It may be there, but I didn't see it. But it'll beep to let you know that it does not have internet connectivity at the time. What had happened was it come unplugged from the actual router stuff that was there. So let's take a look at the back of it. So there's the back. As you can see next to the phone, now you get a good idea of the height. It's about as tall as a normal cell phone, a little bit taller actually. At the top, there's a tiny reset button. There is a USB port, so you can plug in additional storage of things. There is your Ethernet connectivity port, and then the micro USB power that's on there. It came online pretty quick. It does do its own updates through the application to let you know when an update is due. Please don't power it off during that time that it needs to do the update. As well as put this in a central location. The point being is this also has the siren and sound of it, the 80 decibel siren. You really can't see any ports for the siren anywhere on here. But you want to put this in a central location somewhere in the house that, 1, the siren can be heard, and 2, all the triggers can reach it. So you may have to move this around a little bit till you figure out exactly the best place for it. I had it a couple different places just to test it. It seemed to always have really good reception. But that also, keep in mind, is how far do they want to go with the actual trigger device. So if they're going to be wearing the alert device that you can see here, and they want to go to the backyard or the patio or the porch, or maybe they go out front a lot and sit out front or something like that, you want to make sure that this can actually reach the hub as well. So keep that in mind, do a little bit of testing and playing around with it. So what do we think overall? I can tell you right now that the interface, it was easy to set up because it came pre-configured and pre-ready to go out of the box. Just plug in the pieces and it worked. But I wish there was a way on their interface, and we kind of showed it up close, to trim this down to just be the features I have that I'm using or that I want to use, or maybe some sort of just easier interface. It has just a lot of options I'm really not keeping track of right now. Like, temperature, I don't have anything for temperature that's available. Automation, I'm not really automating anything. I do deal with the camera and setting some settings about will it trigger an alert if there's motion or things like that. But otherwise, there's not a lot that's there. I mean, I would like to have, I guess, an easier way for that to take care of. The Videogram does kick off. It does show you recordings of the cameras that go, which was really cool, letting you know that there was a trigger done and an alarm was sounded via panic, whatever mode. That was really nice. Updating everything was very seamless. It was really easy to go on here, see there was an update for the hub, see there was an update for the camera, and go right back and click and just wait patiently. Anyone can do it. If you're taking care of the elderly, you can even do it remotely if you have the application connected to it. I like the fact I can share this with multiple family members. I like the fact that you can have multiple people alerted with it. The Siren, 80 decibels. It's loud. Now, does it do you any good inside the house? Well, to let other people know, yes. As an alarm to, if there was an intruder possibly, yes, it could work. But for someone that was outside the home, you really wouldn't hear it. But it is quite loud. I'll give you that for it overall. There is, of course, the features about home and away and armed and disarmed, because they have a lot of other components that work with this, including security stuff and other pieces you can add on. Home8 makes a whole array of security products. This kit is designed for taking care of the elderly. So I wish they had an interface that I could click that said elder care, and an interface that said home security, and then one that said let me do everything as an advanced mode. That would be really helpful. There are a ton of menu options down the side that we showed. So overall, what do we think? So what about the equipment? Having the hub that was easy to set up and configure was a beautiful thing. Having the camera with its 100-degree view and the ability to, I should say, pan. Tilt was manual, so you need to get it set where you want it to tilt. But you could sit there and pan using the application. A little bit slow. The two-way audio was pretty clear. It was pretty good and helpful for that. I can tell you right now, this little thing that we talked about, this thing works great. Not a problem with that. And the little trackers are interesting. It just had the stickies. I wish there was other ways to mount these. Maybe a slide or a clip or something else that came with these. But this is a great trigger for anyone that's an elder or special assistance needs. These, I think, are a great idea to let you know things are in motion or move, but I wish they had other ways to clip on, because I may not want to stick it to everything. So you can get your hands on this online now. I know it's at many stores. Amazon had it, Best Buy has it, of course Home8 has it, but if you need to order online from any of those, it's available. You can find some data sheets and product sheets in there as well. I do still wish, of course, they'd update this little quick start guide a little bit more, maybe a little more information about the application UI. But thanks to them for sending it over. I want to say thank you again for watching. Make sure you follow all our product reviews here on YouTube and check out these other videos that follow up right behind this one.